In the gallant days when history hung on the flight of an arrow or the slash of a sword, when feudal barons ravaged the countryside to live in pomp and splendor.
It is truly colorful, exciting, fascinating entertainment every minute of the way.
Moonsea Adventures.
Hello and welcome back to the Moonsea Adventures. The party is reviewing their options as things become a bit more scary in Melvaunt. The breakdown of the city's law enforcement, fires, people being infected, the city gates being locked so that people from the outside can't get out, also creates a problem with refugees who are trying to get into the city and for people who want to exit the city. So where we left off, you guys had a plan in place. And as night turns to dawn, the apothecary, Rihanna, has finished the processing of her antidotes. And she's tired herself, but she calls over to you, Ushun, and says, I think that they're ready. So she kind of looks at the curtain covering the door to the room where Syllar has been tied up, on the off chance that Syllar would transform into one of the infected. Smash cut across town where Harley and Angler you're still holed up, right? But you are planning to head to the apothecary?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm assuming that you guys are going to try to stealth your way on foot to get there.
Yep, and in case we'll be discovered, I'll use invisibility on both of us.
Ooh, invisibility on. Then here's what I'm going to do. I'll have each one of you make a stealth check with advantage.
Okay.
And exhausted. Does that affect the advantage?
Yes, you no longer have advantage.
Straight roll.
Okay. Stealth is good. 16 for me.
11.
Both sufficient. You are invisible. You leave quietly, doing your best to be stealthy. And you could see now in the morning air, though a little bit cooler, there's a haze. The smell of smoke from multiple fires permeates the air. And coming off of the Moonsea is not a smell of, the fresh smell of salt water that would kind of normally blow inland, but instead there's a foul smell of rot.
As I sent Murmur to spy on the servant of the Lord Frostpost that's hiding on the ship, I contact Murmur and ask him, what's going on with that smell?
Murmur informs you that there are bodies floating in the harbor. Some of them are twitching and moving around.
Okay, Angler. We should act fast. There's some crazy things going on in the harbor.
I will just, if I know where he is, put my hand on his back since I can't say. Let's go.
Okay. You guys quietly and invisibly make your way through the neighborhood to the apothecaries. You go to the backyard. You don't see anyone outside for that entire duration. You didn't see anyone or hear anyone in your traversing from your hideout to the apothecaries. You get to the back door. You see Ushun inside. You see Rihanna, and you see these vials that Rihanna has filled with this thick substance. And Ushun, you don't see anyone. You don't see or hear anyone. You guys are outside of the door, though.
Ushun, let us in! And I knock the door.
Okay. You hear the voice of Harley and a knock, but you don't see anyone outside.
I think I'm hallucinating. Do you hear that?
I turn myself visible.
Oh, God, don't do that.
Okay.
Okay. Are you alone?
No, Angler's here with me.
I'm gonna pop behind him and pull the mask off.
Okay, good.
He's not feeling great.
Were you followed?
We haven't seen living soul.
Okay. I open the door a little bit. Usher them both in.
Okay.
I look at Angler. Look in his eyes. That's probably not enough. A 3.
Well, they're
Medicine
bloodshot.
check.
Okay. Rihanna looks at Harley and Angler, and she kind of like looks back at Angler again, and she says, I'm not sure, but I think that perhaps we should deal with Syllar first. He seemed to be a bit more advanced in his illness. Are we ready to try this?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Angler is a bird. He'll deal with that.
She says, I hope it works with his kind as well. I didn't really think about how different species could interact with all of the concoction.
Don't worry. He wants chicken away.
Okay. Stay back. I'm going to pick up my great club and I'm going to peek through the curtain at Syllar.
Syllar is asleep. Not very comfortably looking either. Like more like so tired that he fell asleep and his head is back, but he's like tied up in the chair.
Okay, he's asleep. Let's go.
Okay. You guys go
and
in.
I'll
Syllar, you wake up to the sound of people coming in the room.
What's going on? What happened? Was I out?
You could tell that it's not night anymore because there's light coming through the back porch area. You see your group of friends, and you see Rihanna holding a stoppered vial with this goo in it. And she says, I'd like you to try this if you're willing to see if it will help you.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
So
can't be much worse than what I'm going through.
She holds it up to you and kind of lifts it up to your lips. It tastes warm and thick and very bitter. Make a Constitution saving throw.
6.
You fall unconscious.
Is that good?
She says, I don't know. And you see she's like checking his neck and putting a finger under his nose, and she's like, he's still breathing. She kind of like lifts him up, lifts up his face and his eyes. What are you guys doing in the meantime?
How long do we have to wait?
She says, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long this would take.
I'll try to press the digitate ammonia odor for Syllar, maybe to wake up.
It does. It works briefly. And then he falls back out.
Okay. That didn't go according to plan.
Well, medicine is kind of, well, this is magic, right? So we don't know what's going to happen, right?
She says, well, I don't know exactly how it impacts people. He's, how it could impact an elf versus, she like looks over at Angler and she's like, I don't know how it would impact him, but it should begin to work right away to fight the infection.
We may try that on Angler as well.
No, not yet. Tell you what, you're tired. Why don't you go to bed or go to sleep, and we'll check on him, and if there's any change, we'll let you know right away.
She nods. She says, okay, as long as you're not leaving, you'll stay here.
Yes, guys, we're staying here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ushun, I'll go take a short nap.
Okay.
So.
Any more news from the inn or whatever?
Well, actually, it's quite bad in the town. There are bodies in the harbor, floating on the water and twitching, probably turning into zombies or something more sinister.
Oh, God.
There is some nobleman hiding on a ship in the harbor as well. And
you get his name?
Lord Prospos.
Does that ring a bell with me?
You can make a history check, but it's going to be a high difficulty.
That's okay. I'll try it. I got a 17 before. Let me see. History. Where is it? Oh, I got a 12. Probably.
You haven't heard of this name.
I'll look at the ring real briefly. I don't know. You think this is his ring?
Well, probably. There was some servant searching the tavern, and he was looking for Lord Prospos' stuff, so probably. But after I'll take a nap, I'll contact Murmur. He's spying on them. Maybe he'll find something out.
Maybe he's dead.
Don't worry. He's my sneaky guy.
You could take a nap. Rihanna takes a nap. So that leaves Angler and Ushun, who are awake. You two both make perception checks.
$17.
1.
Angler, you hear some screaming off in the distance, like cries of help and screams of pain.
I'll write what I hear on the board and show it to Ushun. People screaming. Pain screams.
We can't do anything about it. You gotta stay here, especially you.
Okay. Is there anything specific that you want to do in the first hour?
After an hour, check on Syllar.
Syllar is still deep asleep.
Okay. I'm going to be sitting in the same room as he is.
Okay.
I'll be
Angler, what about you?
I'll just be with Ushun and
Okay.
Syllar. I'm gonna eat a ration. I'm a hungry bird.
Second hour goes by.
Any change in Syllar?
Make a medicine check, either one of you.
8.
Not you don't really see much of a change. How about you, Angler?
3.
Yep. Third hour goes by. In the course of the third hour, Syllar is in a deep sleep, but kind of tossing and turning, and you notice he's drenched in sweat.
Ooh.
Make another medicine check.
Can I give her advantage?
No.
Well, that's a 1.
You could tell that there's something like that. He's feverish. He's hot, like burning up, drenched in sweat, deeply asleep.
Put my head up to his chest and listen to his heart.
It's beating fast.
I need to do a medicine check on Angler.
You don't see any of these symptoms with Angler. Angler looks, other than his eyes being a little more red and irritated, you don't see any of these kind of characteristics. Angler, you, after the third hour, you are sitting in the room with Ushun, and both of you see Syllar wake up. Syllar, you wake up. You are drenched in sweat, but you feel better.
All right. So,
you guys notice that other than, he seems like a little bit fatigued still, but overall, like, it looks like he has broken a fever.
can I get some water? I'm hot and I'm thirsty. Just give me some water, please.
Sure.
I'll go get the water.
I'll dip a rag in water and kind of clean off his face, his
Okay.
neck.
How long have I been out after that drink? I
3
don't remember
hours.
anything after.
3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
It's mid-morning. You get some water. Rihanna is still asleep unless you choose to wake her up.
Yeah, I want to wake her up.
Okay. She says, "What's going on? Is everything okay?"
Yeah, he started sweating and stuff, and he woke up.
So she quickly goes over to Syllar and begins kind of checking him out. And she says, Your fever is broken. Do you feel better?"
Yeah, I'm just very tired and thirsty.
Have some water, but don't have too much, and then you should rest more. She says,
Yeah.
I think the potion has worked.
Can we untie him?
I don't see why not. Do you feel sound in your mind? Do you feel stable?
I think so. It's very tired, but I think I'm okay.
Okay, I'll untie him.
Okay. You stand up, you stretch, you feel like just a little bit tired, but and a little bit sore from sitting in the chair for so long, but overall you feel better.
Okay.
Do you need to use the necessary or anything?
No, I'm fine for now.
Okay.
I think I lost most of it through sweating. I'm
Yeah.
drenched.
Yeah.
Rihanna says, well, should we try it with Angler?
Before I would take the potion. I'm gonna wake up Harley. So
Okay.
he wants updates with Murmur.
All right. Harley, you are
Huh?
tapped awake by
Huh?
Angler.
What's going on? Is it morning already?
I'm gonna nod my
Oh.
head and just write on the board. Syllar seems all right. He's awake.
Okay. Thanks to the Raven Queen. Okay. We should contact the Murmur. And I try to communicate with him. So I want to know what he find out. Murmur, are you there?
Yes, Master.
What's going on?
There's a group of men fighting near the docks. They're fighting another group of men.
Okay, let me see. And I'll walk into him.
So
I
you
can
see basically that he has positioned himself near the top of like a post at a building just inland from the harbor, and he's looking out, and you see two gangs viciously fighting, and like people like with clubs and swords and axes. There's about 20 men on each side engaged in this thick battle.
Okay, anyone?
Oh, I'm sorry. You also recognize one more thing. You see a cart that looks very familiar. and it is about 10 feet away from where the battle's happening, and it's loaded with stuff. Like, it looks like they just threw as much loot as would fit onto this, and then they were heading down to the harbor, and then this rival gang came, and there's now a gang battle happening.
Okay.
And no constables in sight.
Do I see anyone rabbit or ill?
No. These look like normal people, but there's no constables, there's no law enforcement. No one's ringing the alarm bell.
Okay. Does Murmur know anything about the noble or the servant that was sent by the noble?
He says, I will go there, Master, and show you. They're still on the ship. He goes to the ship.
Not now, Murmur. We need just a quick reconnaissance along the way to the docks from where we are. Can you return to me?
Yes, of course, Master. And he
just quickly fly here and back to the docks, just so I see what's on the road.
So basically, between the southern part of the town closest to the harbor and where you guys are is just desolation. Every street has overturned carts. Some buildings are burned down. Some buildings are still smoldering. You see bodies of people who have been killed. You see bodies of livestock and domestic animals that have been killed. You see rats like rampaging through buildings and going from one building to the next. You occasionally see buildings that have been boarded up where you can hear people inside calling for help, and you see infected people outside like banging on the doors and windows.
Okay, is there? I'm not sure about the layout of the city, but on the Murmur's Way, is there also the Crooked Crow Inn, or it's somewhere else?
That would be north of where you guys are. You could send him there.
Okay, I just need a quick assessment of the situation, and we have to gather reinforcements if there are any. So I'll send him there, and I want to know the most feasible or most possible way to the Crooked Crow?
It looks like this northern part of the city has, like, where you guys are now is a lot quieter and hasn't been impacted as much as the central or southern districts of the city. Like, you could, if you were stealthy, you could probably make it to the Crooked Crow from where you are.
Okay. Well, I'll send the murmur back to the docks, and I'll go to speak with my companion. So, guys, there is mayhem and chaos on the streets, but we have to muster some forces just to get out of the city.
Oh, we don't have to leave now. We've got a cure.
Yeah, but I'd like to deliver a few of those potions to the Crooked Crow Inn to heal any possible allies there.
Well, she only made 6 so far. One of them's gone, so that leaves 5.
Okay, what about 2 potions, guys? I'll go there and I'll head back as soon as possible.
You going alone?
Okay. Was my nap enough to recharge my my spell slots?
Short rest?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so I can turn myself invisible if it will be necessary, and well,
I don't want you
that.
going alone. I want to go with you.
Well, maybe the sneakiest guy of all of us can go with me.
He's sick.
But
he needs to stay here.
So Rihanna says, why do you want to go to the Crooked Crow? Why would you involve yourself with those people?
He thinks he has allies there.
I know it.
But they're dangerous.
They are.
I turn onto the Rihanna and I say in my natural voice, "So am I. Where do you think I'm from?"
She kind of steps back. She's like, "Oh, okay."
The most dangerous people here is me and my buddy here. And I tap on the head of the angler.
Yeah, he does that. I don't know why.
Well, that's my voice.
She says, you know that the Crooked Crow is where the skinned rats are based out of.
Yeah, exactly. And they are the best chance we have to get out of the city.
She said, well, that might be true, but they don't just help people for free.
Yeah, that's why we made a bargain.
I'll tell you what. I'll follow you. And I'll follow you and help you out if you need it. But if the going gets too tough, I gotta go, you know.
Don't worry about me, Ushun. I'll manage, but if you so desperately want to follow me, I'll welcome some help.
It isn't desperation, it's friendship. Even though you have that creepy voice.
Trust me, where I'm from, friendship is just a word for someone that doesn't kill you on the first sight.
Well, good. I guess I'm a friend.
Well then, I'll grab 2 potions and off we go.
Oh, jeez, I hate that. Okay.
Okay. So you're blowing a slot on invisibility?
Well, I'll blow my slot on invisibility if it will be necessary. At first, I'd like to stealth naturally.
Okay. Well, then, and Angler, are you staying with Syllar and Rihanna, or are you going with them?
I think I'm gonna try and take one of the potions.
Okay.
Like drink it, not like take it.
All right. So let me do your thing first. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
Hang on, apparently I'm blind. 8.
You immediately fall unconscious.
Yeah.
All right. Stealth checks for Harley and Ushun.
This ought to be fun.
20.
4.
23. 23.
Harley, you're making great progress in your stealthy maneuvers. But as Ushun is about 10 feet behind you, she's stepping over some rubble, and the rubble cracks, and the wood underneath it snaps, and it makes kind of a loud bumping, thumping noise.
I'm used to this.
Okay, be quiet.
All right, you make it another block. And you see, as you're looking down this block, you see a group of 4 of the town constables, who are armed and armored with shields, and they all have these long spears, and they're kind of in this tight diamond formation, and they're moving down the street. And as they're moving down the street, you see occasionally like a person, an infected person, run out towards them, like snarling and you know, pus coming out of their red eyes, and they jab with their spears and like knock down the infected and pin them, and then one of them will come up and over and hit him in the head, and then they kind of move on. They're about a block away from you guys.
Well, see, that's what I want to do.
Well, we should sneak around them. Are you able to do that?
So just to give you guys a visual, to get to the next block, you have to cross open ground. Even if you go from like one building to an alley, it's still you're crossing an expanse of about 40 feet of open ground.
Okay. How far are we from the Crooked Crow? About half a mile or something.
300 meters.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, just let me. You sneak. I think it'd be faster if you do the sneaking and I'll just walk there. Because I'm not. I mean, look at me. You know. Come on.
I know, but they are armed to the teeth.
So am I.
I put my hand on Ushun's shoulder.
Oh no. You want to make me invisible, huh?
Don't let them kill you.
Oh, okay.
Go that way. And I show some alleyway that she may probably escape from.
Okay. Roll a d4.
Okay, D4. One.
Okay. So you cross because you're invisible. Nothing seems to notice you. Ushun, you're going to continue heading towards the inn, but you're going to need to make another stealth check.
I'm not going down that alley. I'm staying in the open.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to get trapped.
All right.
Stealth 9.
Roll a d4 for me.
D4. 2.
Okay. You are in the open and you hear sound of like something being moved from inside of a half burned down building. And you see that there's a body that's quite actively trying to claw its way out from underneath this table and half of the roof that's fallen onto it. And it looks like an infected person. And they see you and they're vigorously like snarling and like biting with their jaws and trying to claw their way out, but they're pinned down by this partially collapsed roof and the table that they're underneath.
Okay. I'm going to deploy my halberd, calmly walk over there, wait for a good opening, and stab this person.
You do. Now roll initiative.
Oh, shit. Sorry. I didn't mean that.
Only Ushun or me as well.
17.
Okay. You hear two people jumping out from rubble piles on either side of you. They are not infected. They look kind of like normal people, like loose fitting clothes, but one has a short sword, one has an axe. And they look at you and the one guy says, "Hey, drop your weapons and we'll let you walk away. Come on, drop it." And the one swinging he's kind of like swirling his axe around and the other is like twirling his sword around. They're like, drop your weapons and we'll let you walk away.
Okay, I'll put the weapon at rest. I'll just hold it down in both hands and I'll say, look, we both have the same goal here, to survive. Now, I will walk away without reporting you, without hurting you, without shouting or anything. I would even kill something that was coming after you.
You see they're nervous, like looking to their sides as if they're expecting
There is
something.
no one with me. I am alone.
All right, make a persuasion roll.
Yeah.
Well, it's not deception because you're not lying.
No,
it's
I'm
not
not
necessarily intimidation because you're
17.
all right. They both lower their weapons and they're like, well, who are you with? Whose side are you on?
I am on my own side. I just want to survive and get the orcish obscenity out of this town.
The one guy looks at the other guy and they're like, well, that's what we're gonna try to do too. And the one guy, the guy with the sword says, "My name is Vargas," and the guy with the axe is like, "My name is Michael. We've been looking for a way out." And as he's saying that, you hear a low, sort of sickly snarl.
Turn toward the sound.
And you see a pair of red eyes emerge and a very large head emerge from behind a rubble pile. And it is an infected hound.
Shit.
Roll initiative again. Michael.
Better stay here and fight with me, guys.
You think you can persuade the dog to back off?
That would be
9.
one hell of an animal handling check. 9. All right, so that's not good. The dog won initiative. The dog leaps at 1, 2, Vargas, 3, 4, Ushun, 5, 6, Michael. The dog leaps at Michael. 17. That is a hit for 6 damage and tears into Michael's flesh. And Michael's like, ah, God, get it off of me. Ah, it's just ripping at his shoulder. Vargas is up next. Vargas is like, oh my God. And he swings and misses at the hound, which brings us up to Ushun.
Okay. I'm gonna chop at that hound. Okay, that is a natural 20.
Okay.
So the halberd is a lot.
What is it, D12?
D10 plus
D10?
4.
All right, so roll your D10 and add 4.
Okay, and roll it again?
No.
Oh. Okay, so I got that.
What's that? How much?
6.
Okay, so then add 10, so you have 16. That is more than enough. You cut the dog. The hound is dead instantly, but its jaws are locked onto, like its head is still locked onto Michael, and Michael's like, oh my God, like you could even see the mucus and stuff from the dog's mouth and the dog's nose. Like Michael is clearly like bitten, right? And he kind of like pulls this locked jaw head off, and Vargas is helping him, and Vargas is like, shut up, you're gonna attract more. And he's like, God, it hurts, help me, and he's screaming. Make a perception check.
15.
You see that apparently something is now aware of hold on one second. All right, you see a group of let's see, 2 donkeys, a llama, and 4 sheep are now stampeding towards you. They're about 120 feet away.
Are they infected?
They all look infected.
Oh. Wow.
Michael's
Okay.
trying to put his mouth over Vargas is trying to put his hand over Michael's mouth to stifle him, and he's kind of preoccupied on trying to help Michael. What do you do?
Well, what do I do? There's too many of them.
So you are right next to a building that has a partially collapsed second floor.
Yeah. I'm not going in there.
Came from. Across the street is an intact looking single-story cottage, but the windows, the shutters on the windows have long ago been broken into. So that's not fully safe. You feel like if you run, you could make it to the inn about a half block away. That looks like it's intact.
Yeah, I'll run.
Okay. So you take off. Smash cut back to Harley. You hear all sorts of commotion in the back, but you're about a half block ahead on your way to the Crooked Crow Inn. So do you backtrack or do you?
Well, I'm determined to deliver those potions, so
Okay.
I'll head
So you
there.
keep going. Ushun, you are able to run full speed. What's your movement?
I think I got a 60.
I thought Barbarian's got a... Oh, no, wait.
That
No,
might be a higher level.
no, that's just it's just racial 60.
Okay. All right, so you are running towards this inn, and you could see that the first floor of the inn, all the windows and doors are barricaded. The second and third floors of the inn look like the windows, the shutters, the wooden shutters have been closed, but there's a balcony that overhangs from the third floor, and you see a man sitting on a chair calmly with his feet up on the railing of the balcony. And he's well dressed, and you see he's like watching you run from where you were towards the inn.
Yeah, hopefully the animals are stopped by the 2 tasty meals that are there.
So half of them are, but the 4 sheep are coming after you. You see the man like look down. He stands up from his seat, takes his feet off, his boots off of the railing, stands up and kind of like looks down at you as you're running from the sheep.
I want to get up on the porch and stand my ground.
Okay.
I mean, get a slightly higher vantage point.
All right.
I think I could cut down these sheep pretty easily. I'm not sure.
Okay. What weapon are you using? Your
halberd.
Okay.
I've got
right.
reach.
The sheep are on their way forward, and one of them stops and falls and dies because an arrow hit it.
Okay.
They move forward again. Now they are within 60 feet. And another one gets hit by an arrow but doesn't die. And then they are nearing you. So they are rushing full speed into you. 2 of them are not wounded, and 1 has an arrow in it. You are ready, and you're set for this charge, so you can attack first.
And I'm going to do a swing attack. Just basically swing the thing around so I can, I don't know.
Okay.
Try to do that.
All right.
Okay, 16.
That's a hit. Roll damage.
Okay, that's an 11.
You kill 1.
All right.
All right. The other 2 attack. 1 rams you, and it's 12 to hit.
Yeah.
That hits?
Barely.
Okay. You are going to take 2 points of damage.
Is that force damage or piercing damage?
It's piercing.
They bit
no,
me?
you know what? It's not piercing. I didn't say that they were goats, right? They're sheep. So
yeah.
It'd be bludgeoning damage. Yeah.
Okay. How much?
2.
2. Okay.
All right. Back to you.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Get this other one. Okay, so that's a 9. I probably missed.
Miss. All right. Now they are up on you. They are trying to bite you. We have an 8 and a 11.
11 meets. They got me. 11 meter beat. Yeah.
4 damage.
Shit. I do utter a very loud curse. Okay, now I'm going to be using this halberd like a kind of a staff to just keep them away from me.
Okay.
So that's a 19. And since it's bludgeoning, I'll do this. And that's 8 on one of them. I don't know
knock
which
one out, just down for the count. The
Okay.
last one is the one that has an arrow sticking out of it. It is wounded. It has a 12 to hit.
No. Oh, yes.
4 more damage.
Did it bite?
Yep.
Oh, shit. Okay. This one's going away. And this is bludgeoning again. 10.
Yep. What's the damage?
9.
Dead. What is your passive perception?
Passive perception 10.
Okay. You don't think that there are any other infected coming towards you.
Well, I'm going to look around real carefully.
Okay.
And I'm going to shout, "Hey, thanks for the help."
You look up and he's not up there anymore.
That's fine. I'm going to kick these dead sheep down into the street.
Okay.
And wait for Harley.
You're still several blocks away from the Crooked Crow.
Who?
You are.
Oh, me. Okay. Well, I guess I'll get down and
walk, stealth, or run. That's what I need to know.
Walk for now, being very careful.
Okay. You make it through.
Wait, I want to look back. I want to look back at that pack that was down the street.
You see the pack devouring what's left of Michael, but you don't see Fargus there.
Okay. Okay, I'll just walk away.
Okay. You get down to the next block. Make another perception check.
11.
Okay, nothing. You get to the next block. Make another perception check.
Natural 20.
Oh. All right. You happen to be, just scanning the horizon, and out of the corner of your eye, you see someone moving on the rooftops off to your right.
Turn toward him.
It's the nicely dressed nobleman, human man. And he kind of gets to the end of a building, and he kind of squats down on the corner, and he looks down at you, and he just kind of tips his hat at you.
I hold up my hand.
You
Is
see
this
that
your ring?
He shakes his head and he goes, you just see him go. And he points. Around the corner, you see a group of 3 infected humanoids. One is a halfling, and the other 2 look like they're humans. And they're just kind of like slowly sort of walking down the street. And occasionally they like twitch and look towards a building. And then they kind of walk again.
Okay. I'm going to go like this. You, me, fight them.
He pulls out a quiver and he turns it upside down. Like it's empty. And then he puts it back. He points to you and he does like a circle.
I don't know how to tell him. Yeah. Okay. I will go farther away from that group
Make a stealth check.
8.
Okay. You're going farther away, and you see the infected halfling kind of like turn and like sort of like snort / snarl, like ah! And then you hear and you see the guy on the roof is kicking the top of the roof really loud. And you see that all three of the infected start snarling and they run over to the building that he's on. And they're kind of clawing at the building and trying to like reach up and climb up and get to him, but they're not making any process.
I'm running.
All right. So you get out of there because he basically continually makes noise to draw their attention. Smash cut back to Harley. You bypass a bunch of potentially problematic issues, but you finally get to the last block where the Crooked Crow is, and you see beyond the inn is the wall and the gate to the city, and it's closed, it's barricaded. You see a bunch of bodies. You even see a cart with a bunch of bodies stacked up on it that looks like it was abandoned. And there's a lot more debris in the street, but the Crooked Crow Inn itself seems to be intact.
Okay, I look on the. I think there was a balcony.
Yes.
And is there someone? Or
that you see, or that sees you?
That I see. Is
You
there
don't-
anybody?
You don't see anybody looking out the windows or standing on the balcony or even at the roof, at the edge of the roof line.
Yeah, and I presume that the balcony that led to the room of the Dark Lady.
Right, that's the top. That's the roof. So the Night Lady, remember how like there was a balcony on the third floor, and that led up to the roof, and then there was another, almost like an additional suite, like a penthouse suite on the roof.
Is it closer than 30 feet from the ground? Or, well, I'm trying to assess if I'm able to misty step there.
Oh, you want to misty step to the balcony? Yeah,
Yep.
I guess you could, because it's about 10 feet per floor.
Okay, so at first I try knock on the door.
Okay.
Is there any response?
After about 10 seconds, you just hear a whisper. Who is it?
And I speak in Undercommon. It's Harleyfox. I've come to fulfill my part of the deal.
Is there any infected out there near you?
Not that I can see.
You hear quietly this wood sliding back as the deadbolt is taken away, and you see the door open just a crack, and it looks like one of the human gang members, and he looks out at you and he says, "Come in." He opens the door.
I slide right in.
He closes the door and bolts it, and he says, "Wait here."
I will.
You see that there are two guys with heavy crossbows, and both of them are behind a barricade of tables, sitting on chairs, and the heavy crossbows are leveled on the table, basically at the door where you are. The man goes up the stairs, and a few moments later he returns, and he says, Rakul is out right now. But you can wait here until he comes back. Just no funny business.
If I wanted to do a funny business, I could be right on the balcony and probably speaking with a night lady. I'm here to fulfill my promise. And I show them 2 potions that I have.
He says, what the hell is that?
What?
What are those?
Those are the medicine for any infected in your midst.
Oh, well then Rakul will definitely need to see you and speak to you. Wait here.
I will. And I look on the tips of the bolts and the crossbows.
They are still there aiming at you. Smash cut outside to Ushun. In the distance, you could see the Crooked Crow Inn.
Okay, I'm running up to the door.
Okay, you run up to the door.
Bang, 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 bang.
Harley, you
Knock on
hear
it.
banging on the door. You see both of the crossbow guys get a little more intense. You see the normal human say, Are you expecting anyone?
Well, just my friend. She was very eager to come with me.
I'm looking around to make sure nothing's following me.
Ushun, is that you?
Yeah.
The guy's like, Are any infected following you? He whispers through the door.
I look around. Are there any infected following me?
You don't see any, no.
No.
He said, all right, stand back. And he moves the dumb bolt or the deadbolt out of the way. And he opens the door. And he said, what are those spots where you're bleeding?
Got bit by an animal. I'll be fine.
He says, no way. You wait out there. He closes the door. Make a perception check.
14.
It's relatively quiet in the area that you're in. You are waiting there for 10 minutes. Harley, you are inside waiting for 10 minutes. You don't hear anything outside. And after 10 minutes, you see the human guy that greeted you at the door. You hear someone in Undercommon speak from upstairs. And you hear him say, bring him up. The human guy says, okay, you go upstairs.
I've heard. And I go there.
Okay. You get to the top of the stairs and you see a very finely dressed Rakul.
Greetings, my friend.
And he says, I'm to understand that you brought the medicines. Tell me more.
As I promised, it was an arduous task. But me and my friends, we managed to cooperate with the herbalist from this town. And she made a few of these potions as soon as she could.
What about your friend that's outside? Is that the one who made the potions or is that a different friend?
No, but she helped.
But she's been bitten?
Apparently so. But if she was bitten, it should. It happened in about 15 or 20 minutes ago.
He says, I want to know that these potions work.
We tried them already.
I have an idea. We'll bring your friend in, the one that's been bitten, and she'll take one, and then one of my sick men downstairs will take the other. If both of them live, then the Night Lady will accommodate your requests.
Well, we may try that. I'm not sure about the stage of the illness that is affecting your men, but I hope it will be enough.
One of them turned last night. We had to kill him. The other one can still form sentences.
So we may have time.
Let's do it. Come with me. He walks downstairs, and as he's walking in Undercommon, he tells the other minion to let in the half-orc. The door opens. The human guy says, come in and sit down right at this table.
I'll sit down.
You see the same thing that Harley saw. There's 2 guards with heavy crossbow bolts with 3/4 cover behind a flipped over table, and they're aimed at you guys. And you see a man who is a drow, but wearing the same clothes as the guy who you saw following you on the roof. And he sees you and he says, you were with him, with Harley, and you've been bitten. You will take one of these potions and we will see if it works on you. The other one will go to one of our infected men.
I don't know whether I'm sick yet.
He looks at your wounds. He says, do you want to wait and take a chance?
I wish to wait to see if I'm sick. If I show signs of sickness, I will definitely take it.
He reaches over to the bar and he grabs 2 pairs of manacles and he tosses them across the room to you.
Yeah.
And he says, lay down your weapons. They'll be safe here. No one's going to rob you. Manacle yourself.
Yeah. I take them all off me.
We will try out this antidote on one of my men. And then he barks off another order, and you see 2 other guys come out from the room behind the bar, and he tells them in Undercommon to go bring up one of the sick ones.
Now I have to tell you that the one we tried it on slept for about 3 hours, and in that time he sweated, and then his fever broke. And when we last saw him, he was very tired, but seemed fine. I don't want you to waste this potion on me if I'm not sick, is what I'm saying.
He says, fair enough. We'll wait.
And
about the time
I'll manacle myself.
Yeah, so you manacle yourself. The 2 other assistant guys that came out from behind the bar and kitchen area bring up one of the sick guys, and he is definitely in a state. He looks much worse than Syllar looked, but he's still like lucid and conscious. So they lay him down on another table, and then he says, all right, let's try this potion.
I give him the potion and I say in my guttural Undercommon, drink, friend. It may help you.
They feed him the potion. The guy kind of like sits back and his whole body like becomes stiff with pain for a moment, and he kind of shudders, and then he blinks his eyes And he says, "Oh, what happened? I feel so strange. Oh, it was like I was in a dream for days."
Whoa, that was quick.
And you see Rakul is like, "I thought you said that your friend was asleep for 3 hours."
Yeah, well, he was an elf. You know how they are.
He looks at the human man who apparently has made a full recovery in 6 seconds. And then he looks at you and he looks at Harley and he says, "Supposing that this works, what is your proposal to the night lady?"
We promised that we will deliver the medicine, and she will help us to find out who's behind that, and probably get us out of this hellhole.
How many
Hey.
are you? How many are you that need to get out?
Hey, hold up. There's only a limited number of potions. We need more supplies to make more. How are we going to get those?
The night
Ushun,
lady
you-
might be able to help with that.
Ushun, you don't have the undercommon, have you?
No. I'm speaking common. Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay, never mind.
He says it would be in everyone's best interest if the apothecary had more room to work in and more help to make more of them and to have more of the ingredients. Yes.
Exactly.
Is that an undercommon or?
No, he says that in common.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
says, we are willing to take your group in here and the apothecary and let you have more room to work in the kitchen here and have her work with some assistance to make more of these potions. And we can guarantee that you and your group will be able to get out of the city safely.
We may help you to find out who's behind that. But just before that, let me ask you something. And I start to speak in Undercommon. Do you know anyone that goes by the name Lord Prospose?
He says, "I don't, but perhaps the night lady does."
I think he might be behind everything that's happening here. I have my scout spying on him right now. And if you help us, as you said, I will share information.
He says, let's secure the apothecary and the other potions and your friends and bring everyone here to safety. And then I will let the night lady decide. You will speak of this to her.
As you wish.
I just want you to know that if you plan to get the rest of our group and the apothecary, it's really dangerous out there. I mean, I was bit by a sheep, so I kill the guy, and it's I also saw this guy who was moving around on rooftops. He was dressed like that guy over there, and he indicated to me that he had no crossbow bolts left.
So just to clarify for you as a player, Rakul is the leader of this gang, and he's the one who is dressed like the guy that you saw on the rooftops.
Okay,
Except the
yeah,
guy
I'll
that
say
you
that.
saw, the guy that you saw on the rooftops was a human man,
Yeah.
and Rakul is a drow.
Yeah, I'll just say that. Yeah. He helped me, you know.
He says, "Yes, I saw you."
Oh, that was you. Thanks.
When I go outside, I adopt a disguise of a human man because it typically would raise eyebrows if a drow was seen outside in daytime.
You know, I don't know who's who anymore. This is the only way I know how to look. I'll stay here.
We will send. He looks back at Harley and he says, "You said you have a scout. Do you have a way to communicate with your other friends to let them know that we will be coming to get them, so that they do not think that we are attackers?"
Not without letting the shady Lord Prospos off the hook. No.
I see. Well, then you'll have to come.
Harley has to go with whatever group goes because she won't open the door to anyone she doesn't know.
All right. Very well. You will go with my men.
Harley or me?
Harley.
Oh, okay.
Let's go with one.
He says, you will go with my men. They will take you safely to gather your friends and bring them back. Make sure that the apothecary brings all of her supplies and tools, because we have to have something to start with.
Of course. We should go at once.
Go out the back door, down that hallway. Follow my men. So here's what happens. You go with a group of 6 of his men who are very well armed. And you notice that they, kind of like the town guard, they all have a combination of weapons. Like there's a couple that have bows, there's a couple that have crossbows, and then they also have like longer reach weapons. And they get into a cart that's in the stables. The horses that are tethered to the cart are also wearing barding, like basically wearing armor. So you tell them like where the apothecary lives so that they know, and the guys know the town pretty well. So you're in the cart with them. A pair of them open up the stable doors and like check and make sure the streets are open, and then the cart takes off. You guys move through very quickly, and only a couple times do you encounter any of the infected, and the infected can't even really keep up, and they're shot with crossbows and arrows. You guys get to the apothecaries. Smash cut, Angler, after 1 hour you awoke and you feel much better. You feel like the rest that you got and the potion must have done something, because you feel you're still a little fatigued, but you don't feel sickly. So you and Syllar and Rihanna are there, and you hear the sounds of like horses and a wagon. And then you hear Harley banging on the door. When you look outside the window, you see 2 guys on a cart and 4 more armed men with them. So what do you do?
Harley, what's going on? Why are you here, and who are they? Right? What happened? Muting.
Those are our friends from Crooked Crow Inn. And our new benefactor sent for you and for Rihanna. So pack up the things and let's head outside.
Are you sure about that? What happened there? Where's Ushun?
Ushun's waiting in the inn. But we have to hurry. And I'm absolutely certain about that.
Rihanna, what do you think?
She's you could tell she's a little bit cautious, and she kind of looks over at you and says, like, if you guys are going, I guess I'll go, but I don't think we really have a choice, because if those are part of the skinned rats, they're a big gang in the city, and right now they might be the strongest gang in the city.
Okay. I guess you should pack up. Anything we can help you with packing up?
Yes, well, if I'm bringing everything, I have to bring everything. So you guys begin gathering all of these like kitchen supplies, basically, and boxes of herbs and bags of different kinds of ingredients, and it takes like probably a half an hour, but everything gets loaded up into the cart. On the way back to the Crooked Crow, they take a different route, and they bypass a few obstacles and a few of the infected, but nothing that really slows you down. You guys get back to the stables. They close the stables, and you go through this kind of side corridor that enters the back of the inn. When you get there, you see Rakul in drow form, and after some brief introductions, he asks, he says, "So both of you were infected?" He asks Syllar and Angler.
Yes, we were. Show him the place where I got bitten.
It seems to be healing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you don't mind, I'd like to have you help Rihanna and my men to unpack her things. They can set up in the kitchen, and we can start working on more of these. After that, you guys can rest. You're safe here. He looks over at Ushun, who you see Ushun is manacled, but she doesn't seem like distressed. Like, she seems like very calm.
Okay.
He says, your friend has been bitten, but we aren't sure if she's infected yet. So just for safety purposes, she's going to hang out down here in the pub. He says, Gabriel can take you up to a room upstairs where you can rest. And if you need food, we'll feed you as well.
Thank you, Agate. I still need to recover quite some bit from this ailment.
Sure, of course. Gabriel takes you and Angler upstairs. There's a nice room. There are 4 beds up there, so you guys crash. Rakul looks at you, Harley, and says, you might as well take advantage of the rest of the daytime to sleep. Your audience with the Night Lady will be at night. He says, my men will watch over the Half-Orc, and if she begins to look as if she's got the sickness, then they'll give her the potion.
Ariel then and I walk to the murmur, like roll my eyes back and just want to figure out what's going on in the docks.
So the gang war came to a very bloody end. It looks like the gang that had taken control of the docks won the battle, but by a very slim margin. The cart, your cart, that had all those goods on it, is no longer there. You see that it's parked out in front of a warehouse now. The ship is still in the harbor, and you notice that the ship has a group of 20 constables guarding that dock, and they are also on the ship with a variety of ranged weapons like crossbows and longbows. Occasionally, like you're getting this in summary from Murmur's kind of summaries of what's happened. Occasionally, one or a few infected people or animals will make a break for the harbor or for the dock where the boat is, and they will get shot down by all of the guards and constables.
Is there a possibility that Murmur may sneak up on the ship?
Yes.
I'd like to board the ship with Murmur and look on the lower decks, but nothing too dangerous.
You see basically there's a crew, and it looks like the crew is getting ready to sail. They're kind of doing a lot of sort of like preparations. It looks like maybe this ship sustained some damage because there's a crew of people patching up some damage to the hull.
Who the hell is the Lord Prospos? Where he might be? I tried to scout the ship for any signs of that noble. Is there a cabin or
you see there's a captain's there are cabins for the crew, yeah. And there's like a captain's quarters as well.
Okay, and are there any windows? I presume there are, but with a stained glass or something.
There are not windows actually in the crew rooms, but it looks like there's maybe a window to the captain's quarters on the upper deck.
Yeah, great. I just want to look inside. Is there anything interesting?
So when you look inside, you see there's a man in a white suit who looks like a human man. He kind of has his back turned to the window, but he's wearing like a very clean, well-made white suit. And you also see another person who is wearing like a full like robe and cloak, so you can't really see their face because their back is to you as well. And then sitting at the desk facing the window is what looks like the captain of the ship.
Okay, I might try something riskier. I want Murmur, as he's invisible, try to tap on the window.
Okay.
I hope they may turn around.
You see that they do.
Do I recognize anyone?
You recognize the man in the white suit.
Okay, that's the servant, I presume.
The man in the white suit appears to be Mr. Noble.
Okay.
Who is part of the Red Plumes Mercenary Company.
Okay, okay.
The man in the robe
Yeah.
with the hood, when he turns around, you recognize him as well. You recognize that it is Mensrick.
Okay. Okay, I'll leave the Murmur's vision and try to collect my thoughts on that.
Okay. Daytime goes by. Everybody who sleeps during the day, who gets a full long rest, which includes Syllar and Angler for sure. Harley, are you doing your daytime long rest as well?
I try to. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for your long rest. Syllar and Angler, you guys are both cured. The infection's completely gone. Your exhaustion is gone after your long rest. Ushun, you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, Constitution save. That's a 14.
Okay. After the whole day of being manacled, you feel congestion and your eyes feel puffy and itchy and irritated. And you find it harder to breathe. You are infected.
Hey, I think I'm sick.
One of the human guys walks over and is like, yeah, you look like it. And he hands you the potion. He goes, good luck. All right, you drink the potion, make another Constitution saving throw.
Dirty 20.
You feel all of the muscles in your body tense up, like you shoot outward and you turn stiff as a board, almost like you've been electrocuted. And about 6 seconds later, you feel fine. and you're it's like you just took a hit of steroids, and your nasal passages open up, you can breathe, your eyes don't feel itchy, you feel like more alert. You simply need to have either a short or a long rest, and you will be completely back.
Hey, could you take these manacles off me? I'm much better.
We're just gonna wait to make sure.
Could I wait lying down?
Yes, you could lay down along the bench of the booth of the table. You could sleep.
All right.
Meanwhile, this entire day, half of the kitchen has been turned into the apothecary's laboratory at this point. And a bunch of ingredients have been unpacked. A lot more ingredients have been acquired. You all kind of convene. It is now nighttime. You have dinner. There is not music or celebration. Everybody inside of the inn is very quiet while they eat, to the point that, like, if somebody scrapes their fork across a plate, you notice that they get a very angry glance from Gabriel, who seems to be the lieutenant of Rakul. So everybody kind of eats quietly. You guys are all fed food and drink. And you see the one guy who had been given the potion, who was very sick. He even looks 10 times better. And after the meal, everyone's kind of quietly cleaning up. Rakul comes down from the upstairs and he says, "The Night Lady will meet with you now. Leave your weapons here." And he looks at Gabriel and he says, "The Half-Orc she can come too." Do you all comply with this?
I comply, and I'll put down my rapier and also my forked dagger.
Okay.
Down.
Syllar, Angler, Ushun, you guys all leave your weapons?
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Rakul leads you up a flight of stairs, down a hallway, up another flight of stairs, down a hallway, up another flight of stairs. No, I'm sorry. Leads you to a ladder that goes to a trap door that goes to the roof. You get out to the roof. You see the moon is in the sky, the stars are out, but there is definitely a haze from all of the fires that have happened over the course of the last few days and nights. You look out across Melvaunt and again see in the horizon, just periodically you see fires, buildings on fire. You don't hear alarm bells like you did the first day and night, where people were calling for the constables, but you do occasionally hear sounds, just like rabid animals and growls and howls and screams. But you only have a few seconds before Rakul says, "Come this way," and leads you over to the building on top, this penthouse that is on top. And he walks to the door and he knocks twice on it, and you hear a woman's voice say, "Come in." He opens the door and he gestures for you guys to go in. Sorry, go ahead.
Is there any light in the room?
There is a faint, yes, there's a faint light. It's just a candle on a table. That's the only light that's in the room. And there are chairs around the table, and Rakul gestures for you guys to sit down. You don't see the night lady though.
Well, I can see just fine. What else is in the room?
So it looks like basically the front of this room looks kind of like where the table and chairs are, like maybe for meetings. And then there's like a screen, you know what I mean? Like a 3-panel screen with cloth for privacy. And it looks like beyond that might be some kind of bedroom setup. Once you guys sit down at the table, you see the night lady come around the screen. She has perfect skin. Her black skin is just like ebony, jet black skin. And her features are perfect. She has white hair, but it's short. It's not long. It's short, almost to the point where it's shaved on the side and back. And the top is a little bit longer and kind of sticks up, sort of spiked on the top. And she comes around wearing a robe, like literally like she just got out of a bath. And it's like a silk robe. It looks like the kind of robe that like nobility would have, right? Like silk robe with like silver threads. And she comes around and you see Rakul like bow deeply to her. And she looks at all of you. Rakul pulls the chair out and she sits down. And he kind of stands behind her and off to the left. She looks across the table at all of you and she says, "Rakul has apprised me of the circumstances of today, and that Rihanna, the apothecary, was successful in making a cure, that all of you are here now, and that I am in your debt. So it is simply a matter of what comes next. Is it your desire to leave the city?"
I look on my companions. If anyone wants to speak.
What have you heard of the conditions outside the city?
As dangerous. Of course, more open, more spread out, not as dense as the cities, but also other things, other creatures.
Like,
Creatures that are in the region, some of them apparently have also been infected. Trolls,
I'll take.
ogres, even hill giants, gnolls, orcs, humans, anyone traveling on the road, animals. This infection seems to be capable of spreading to any living creature, apparently.
I'll take the ring off my pinky and I say, "Do you recognize this?" And I'll get up if I have to and set it at the edge of the desk. Go back to the chair.
It's a noble house from Hillsfar. House Prospos. Where did you get this ring?
Found it in the inn we were staying in that we were guarding. I look at Harley.
She says, What do you know? You traveled here. You must have come from somewhere prior to this.
I recognize the symbol, but I can't place it.
Not of the ring. I'm speaking about this plague that has affected the region.
I look at Harley.
My lady, we've come here from Plan, and I'm afraid that this plague came with us.
What do you mean came with you? You brought it here?
We were hired by the group called Red Plume, and I presume that Lord Prospos is acquainted with the Red Plume. His ship is right now in the harbor preparing to depart. And we were hired to heist the ship from Flan and take it here.
So you were hired by the Red Plumes, but who
Yes.
hired the Red Plumes? That is the real question.
The Red Plumes never
That is-
tell us anything. They just say, "Do this thing," and we do it.
That's why we came here. We need a little bit of help just to get some answers. And I stand up, I bow deeply, and I say in undercommon, "My lady, our countries were long time friends to another. Shadowfell and Underdark fought side by side against humans. And now we need your help. We need to know who's behind this plague." And I turn myself to my very default form. White skin, white expression, white hair. And I look, still bowing, I look towards the lady. "Sorry for this deception."
She smiles and she says a phrase to you. What languages do you speak?
Okay, just a second. Common, Elvish, and Undercommon.
Okay, she says something to you. In a language that you don't know. And then she pauses for a moment. And then in Undercommon, she says, you could be a very valuable asset in finding out who has brought this plague to the city. You could help us establish greater power here. I would be grateful, and I would help you and your group.
I serve to the Raven Queen, and I will help our allies. If you need me, I'll be there.
She nods. And then in common, she looks to the rest of you and she says, you keep strange company, but you have survived. In exchange for the knowledge that the apothecary has, we will keep her safe and well fed and compensated. We will have our men acquire more ingredients so that she can make more of these healing potions. She says, but I feel like your skills would be better used elsewhere rather than scouring the hills for herbs. She looks at Angler and Syllar and Ushun, and she says, would you, if you were to be compensated and we could get you out of the city, would you be able to, by some means, send information to us about what you discover?
Looking at Harley.
I'm saying nothing. I'm just nodding.
I suppose we can, but if we are to leave this town, I would request that Rihanna write up a manual of sorts, a recipe of this potion, so that if we find other herbalists, that we can spread this potion of healing for this virus.
She says that I would agree to that. This will take a little bit of time, but I'm assuming that you could have the necessary list of ingredients and the process of how to make it, and providing that you were able to gather those ingredients, that most competent apothecaries would be able to recreate the potions that she has made.
Mm-hmm.
I request that we each have at least one of these potions apiece.
Yeah.
And I volunteer to help her in her work so I can learn, or I can show some of the.
How many days will it take to make another batch?
2.5 days, maybe. I'm not sure. You'll have to ask her.
She says you may have to go and then come back, because that is 2.5 days could be the amount of time that determines whether or not this city falls or it stands. She says right now there are still some boats, and as far as we know, one ship in the harbor. All of those are being guarded. The boats are being guarded by another gang that predominantly rules closer to the harbor, the fish heads. And the ship that's the last of the larger ships that's in the dock would appear to be under the protection of the city of Melvont, as my scouts have determined that there are town guards protecting that dock and that ship. We know another way to get out of the city. We could get you out of the city tonight. But it would involve going north, an inland route. Now, I would say that going back west towards Flan would be a bad idea. Perhaps you could go east towards Thentia. We have not heard of anything going on from the east yet. We have not had travelers or any news, which is why it would be essential for you, if you made it to Thentia, to be able to send word to us and give us updates about what was going on. And she looks at Harley and says, could you do this?
I can send my scout back to you. Yes. But my lady, hear my counsel. The people with possible answers are on the ship in the harbor. That's first option. Then the druid east of here may know something about this plague as well. How to cure it, how to stop its spreading. And also we may go east to Thentia and find what's going on there. But tell me where you need us the most.
She says, it would appear that all of these things would lead you to the east. Now, as I said, I will provide compensation, but part of your compensation will be getting you safely out of the city. Another part will be providing you with suitable mounts. Getting people out of the city is much easier than getting horses out of the city. I have two different ways of doing that. For 4 horses, and for the 4 of you, we could probably make arrangements for you to leave tomorrow night, which I don't think is enough time, even with additional help, for Rihanna to make more potions. As for this ship, I don't know if there's any truth to what you say, but if that ship is somehow related to the noble house of Prospos, I don't know that it's a good idea to interfere with their business.
There is the Lord Prospos. There is the Lord Prospos and Manzaric, Windspeaker, the sailor wizard. We've been
I have not heard
here.
of who this Mensrick is.
And, well, this Manzaric may be the guy we need to contact. And I can arrange that. Would you like to know what he's knowing?
Manzaric was a ship's mage on the ship we liberated from the harbor in Flan. He was one of the guys that we got onto the ship, and
yes, we stole that ship.
We liberated it. It was in quarantine.
And that ship carried animals that we would think now are infected, and they may have been released by those aboard to infect this town.
Oh heck, we saw lots of cartage people coming to the dock and taking the cages away. They could be anywhere by now.
Mm-hmm.
She says, even more reason why this needs to be expeditious.
Yeah.
Very well then.
I need to rest for a bit, but I should be ready by tomorrow night.
Very well. She says, we will make arrangements for your travel, for your accommodations, for your transportation, food, water, and some coin, should you need to bribe your way into or out of something. Will that be sufficient for our agreement?
Yeah, that and of course the recipe.
Yes.
I just bow to the lady.
She nods and she says, very well. I will have Rakul escort you out. You may stay here as my guest, and we will resume tomorrow night. She begins to get up, and almost on cue, Rakul pulls the chair back. She stands up. Rakul bows deeply, and she kind of like runs her hand across his head and like through his hair. And then she turns and walks behind the 3-part screen. Rakul then stands up and gestures for you guys to go towards the door.
Let's go. Let's enjoy our stay.
So you guys go back downstairs, escorted by Rakul. And I mean, having just slept throughout the entire day, most of you were up all night. What you basically get to see is that there's a rotation that the gang members have of different shifts, but there's always like 4 to 6 different people on different rotations for lookout positions throughout the night. Occasionally there's sounds from outside. Everybody at that point is quiet. No one makes any noise. Once in the middle of the night, you hear somebody like run up to the inn and bang on the doors and beg to be let in. And then you hear like growling and feral, snarling. And then the person screams and gets torn apart. And at no point do you see any sympathy on the faces of any of these guys. It's almost like as if they've turned off their emotions, and their very humanity. And in the morning, you see Rihanna is just waking up. She looks a lot better. She's had food. She's rested. You guys kind of check in with her. Ushun, did you, since you didn't sleep during the day like the others, did you sleep at night? I'm going to assume you did.
Yeah.
Otherwise you would have a level of exhaustion.
I wanted to huddle with the others briefly.
Okay. Oh, well, sure.
Hey, Harley, you still got that coin from that nobleman?
Well, let me see. I don't think so. Maybe Angler has it.
Who took care of the coin? Oh, here it is. I found it. It's in my pack. Okay. I didn't know whether I should say anything, so I didn't say anything.
Very well.
So
What
we've
is-
got we've got extra coin.
Now,
So
what
I
do you
think
say, guys? Should I contact Manzarek, or should I leave it be?
he's just doing a job. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm not
I
sure
don't know.
if they're on the up and up, or what their game is with infecting folks.
So you saw Mensrick on the boat. Who else did you see on the boat?
well, Mr. Noble.
Oh,
And
really?
I presume that's Lord Prospose.
Well, it's just a supposition. I mean, he could be legitimately trying to get out of the city, for no other reason than
No one
he
else
needs.
that may be called Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
If the Manzarek
Rihanna said that some nobleman bought out all her healing potions earlier,
Yes,
her
and
cure disease potions.
that's exactly why I'm suspicious of this Mr. Noble or Lord Prospose.
Yeah, well, how many nobles could there be in this city? I mean,
Now, probably just
probably one. Yeah.
Sounds like it's just the one and only.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So we'll be heading out towards the Druid and then on to what's that place again?
Ventia.
Ventia. Maybe on our way we can find that druid.
Triangular, what do you think?
So here's what the day looks like. During the day, there's a group of people helping, and Rihanna is basically able to make a lot of the ingredients and move the process along, but it's that time consuming part where things are being cooked down to a concentrate. So she shows you, Ushun, how to do everything, and multiple copies of the recipe and the ingredients lists are made. During the day, the gang also prepares horses for being sneaked out of the town at night, and then they tell you at a certain point that you should probably get some sleep, because you're going to be going out at night. And at that point, we will end this episode. So you guys will pick up in the next episode with your copies of your recipe, one of the potions for your whole group. The other ones are going to be kept here, and then more will be in the process of being made. And you guys will be carefully brought outside of the city, to the north, and you will be given horses, and that's where we'll pick up. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks as always to my patrons for your patience, your kindness, and your support. And we'll see you all next time. Peace out.
Well, hello, and welcome to Bill Allen World. I am Wizzy, the Wizard. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button and Also watch videos that are over there. Tune in to the next episode of whatever show you were just watching and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.